Well, smiling faces, perhaps the biggest smiling face of all, Phil Dowson. Many, many congratulations. We said a little bit earlier what a difference a couple of weeks makes. The Premiership has been a bit of an uncomfortable ride, but tonight you must be a little bit more content, a little bit more settled.
Yeah, a lot easier Friday evening than the last one here. So yeah, I'm delighted with the performance, with how the group has stuck together over the last 2 weeks, because it has been tough at times, and delighted with how they got stuck in tonight.
Give us an idea of what some of the conversations that you're happy to tell us about, how they went amongst the players over the last 2 weeks. The defeat to Tigers was uncomfortable, then the defeat to Sale. What was said? How did the players respond?
Tigers was probably more than uncomfortable, and there's loads of context around that, and I wouldn't want to bore you with all that. And
we don't mind.
but I think over the last 2 weeks we've taken a lot from it, and I think last week at Sale the most encouraging thing was our energy, intent, mindset, whatever word you want to use, was right up there, but we didn't execute very much. We couldn't get into our game, we couldn't look after the ball, we couldn't exert enough pressure to actually get over the line, but fundamentally, if you're within a score away from home, you're there or thereabouts, and I think that was a really good marker for us. And tonight, it's much easier then to coach the execution. It's very hard to coach work rate, it's very hard to coach those other elements. And so the boys came out and went for it tonight, and also executed a lot of stuff. Now, by no means perfect, and we know we have to look at different elements of our game again, but fantastic for them to get both elements of those sides of the game going.
How much of that turnaround comes from the players, how much comes from the coaches?
I think it was really interesting after the Leicester game. I had loads of conversations over the weekend, as you can imagine, with coaches and players and stuff, and actually Fraser Dingwall stood up and Alex Cole said, I want to have a meeting just with the players only. And as a coach, that can mean one or two things. They seem to be fairly amicable. So they did that, and what they said, what really came out of that meeting, along with lots of good conversation, I'm sure, was that they wanted to take ownership of that, and they wanted to drive it, and they didn't want to wait for Rados, myself, Sam to be pushing from the sideline. And they've done that in the last 2 weeks, and I couldn't be more proud, and it speaks volumes about those two guys and the rest of the group.
Das, you obviously had some outstanding performances from individuals today. We mentioned enough of them. Just, you went 24 points up in the game, and then it's a knockout game of rugby, right? So you're thinking, how do you manage it? Then suddenly you kind of let Clermont back in the door. What were you guys thinking up there? I mean, there's still plenty of time left in the game.
Yeah, that's right. There's loads of time left, and very talented. You see what Raka can do, and individuals like that can turn the game, and we didn't want to lose that momentum, and so the key is to keep playing. And I think sometimes you worry about managing games and killing clock, and which I don't think is necessarily always the right way, particularly with 20 minutes to go.
Yeah.
And so the message is just to keep playing. We want to play fast. Yeah. We want to get stuck in and go forward. And we want to obviously mitigate errors and penalties and bits like that. So yeah, I think it was just to keep going, really. Yeah. And I appreciate that sometimes with substitutions that changes some of the cohesion and makes it a bit clunky, but it became a bit more of a shootout. They score, we score, which is obviously not ideal.
Maybe you've been in that. I would have expected that last season from you, because that's the way you played. But maybe you haven't been in that situation that many times. Maybe this time around. I don't know.
Yeah, and that's a good experience for that playing group. To be in a position where your points up, and actually, what do you want to keep doing, and how do you want to go after it?
Phil, I'm going to let you go because the players might be talking about you behind your back. Yeah, you go and get yourself.
Along with you lads as well. Thanks for
you wait till we go. Don't worry. Nothing awkward to be said here.